it's clear that the insurance industry has been very strong at insuring bodily injury and property damage, and probably the most innovative insurance product in the last 10 years was the introduction of management liability, which is designed as the third piece of the pie for SMEs to cover their economic loss exposure from EPL to stat to cyber to crime to D&O. So it definitely has been probably the most innovative product, and we've gone from 2% of SMEs buying to 15% of SMEs buying. So it really has been a truly new product that the industry has created and has dealt with the solutions required for SMEs. Probably where the big challenge now is that management liability doesn't solve all problems, and there has been this perception that for all companies, whether an SME through to a large private company, that by buying management liability, it's the panacea of all problems. The simple reality is there is so much aggregate exposure in a management liability that quite often an SME or even a large private company buying management liability in its own right is too much exposure in one policy. And really companies with beyond 50 million need to be looking at separate towers of insurance, separate cyber liability, separate statutory liability, separate D&O and separate crime. Because to buy $2 million of management liability and feel that you've got cover against this basket of exposures is simply not viable. If you have a large crime loss, it could erode the whole limit, and before you know it, the company could be hit with a cyber attack or a statutory liability breach, and there'll be no cover for the directors or the entity. And it's that lack of cover in those type of events that is going to create the significant balance sheet exposure. We've seen in cyber liability, for example, 20% of companies have had a cyber attack. And now with the legislation coming in March 2014, which is going to impose mandatory breaches of fines of $340,000 against a director or $1.7 million against a company, is can companies afford to take that balance sheet hit without using insurance to offset that? Historically, the insurers haven't helped the market by requiring 20-page proposal forms to be completed to get an indication on 3 different policies. So what we've been doing is working closely with brokers to at least, if you can provide us with your turnover, employee numbers in the industry that you're operating, we can at least give you a pricing indication so that you can start to talk to your insureds about these uninsured or underinsured exposures of stat crime and cyber liability. So I think the key is actually us working as a market to give brokers some rough pricing indications so that they can discuss the exposures with their clients, but with some rough pricing indication.